what you do is you experience you're more competent because you have all these qualities inside of you. Otherwise you wouldn't have thought of them before. You know, you have the competence in there. Now those sensors are connected up. It's just you have to have them stay open, and then you can do like a child does, stand on his hands.
Yeah, and you know, you're giving me special tea that you charged up, and I sat down and you said, all right, you know, lay here, and you I was kind of going to an altered state. You were clearly doing something, put cups on my back, you know, did a suction and all sorts of stuff. And when we were done, all right, I know something happened here. And then you said, no one can touch you for 2 days.
Yes.
What was the deal? What
2
did
days
you,
plus the day you're there.
Yeah. What did you do?
What treatment did you get that day? Yeah. What was that specific treatment?
Yeah, like translate what you did, because my experience of it was, I went into some sort of weird floaty altered state. You're doing some stuff, you're mumbling some stuff I can't remember, and I'll talk about the changes I experienced afterwards. And this is the stuff you do for presidents and NBA players, all these like some pretty heavy duty, powerful people.
All the people you mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah,
a lot of different, very famous.
And I only did this because Jay was like, Dave, you have to experience this. And Jay ran. If you guys haven't heard the episode with Jay, he's like one of the most powerful marketing guys in history, like very well known, helped tens of thousands of companies, and also a good friend. And so I trust Jay. And so he said, just meet Barry. So what did you do? Like for people listening, just tell them what you did.
Okay. This harkens back to when I finally came back to the United States and was given the opportunity by the Grand Master to treat people. So I started treating people very similar to with you, but I would just tell them, would you like something really great that would help you because you're not getting well so quickly? Hey,
Alan, for people on video, Alan's going to join us and sit on my lap during some of this interview. All right.
Yes, I've done
so
this
cool.
You have, that's right. So you just sit here and we'll listen to Dr. Barry tell the story. All right.
Yeah.
So look at Alan, looks great. All right, so the treatment I would do in the beginning was a little more clandestine than the one you had because I would do it all the lights off. So you don't see anything I was doing. And I wouldn't use any of the cups. Only reason I use the cups is it allows me to go faster. So I can treat you quicker. It doesn't need to be that. I can do it with you, having cups without cups. It would be close together or even at a distance, which for a lot of people goes, oh, that's really strange. If you understand how the whole world is not so unconnected, you'll start to get a sense like, oh, maybe there is a way to connect to something. Maybe I have had an intuition once in a while, and then my son had the same intuition at the exact same time. How'd that happen? I wonder. Maybe there is some way of transmitting. I wonder how you do those energy wires. So with you, just like with the other people, first we were going to work on the very important parts, which is give you open your sensors in your body to pull in energy yourself, not only for starting that day, but it's going to get stronger and stronger as the sensors sort of open more, because you're built with these. It's just that they close, either young, right about this age or 7, about 5. Look, 5 and under is somewhere on there. It starts to change. And then you'll notice in their athleticism, you'll notice in their communication, you'll notice in their ability to do certain gymnastics. It changes. And people, what happened? Well, you're getting older. Everyone has this thing, you're getting older. And that's this whole discipline's about life's not about going downhill, or life's about you can get better and stronger as you connect to more of this. So for you, I took all the places that were obvious to me that would really benefit by the getting the energy. So the liver would perk up and the kidney would perk up, all those things that I wanted to get the energy open in those sensors. And then also the ones that would give you more of a chance to have super clear thinking, because I knew that was part of your whole creation of your business. Remember, like that is not like it now. You've done tremendous. I'm thrilled. But because this energy does allow you to have massive creativity. I've had people come to me who are, they've written 3 songs in 3 years and lived in a garage and came to me with just gym clothes on, with their only clothes, and said, you must help me. I heard you can help me become creative and successful. And so I said, okay, what do you want? They said, well, I need to write the songs for this album that I've been trying for 3 years. And then, I said, really, are you really going to do this? If I give you, if I open up all these sensors so that you can pull in the energy, you're going to have to do the exercises afterwards and keep doing it if you really want to be that powerful, that successful. We did. And his dad called me. He says, "You got my son out of the garage. He's been a bum for, I think it was like 24 at the time." He says, "He's been a bum." I what to do. His dad's like this, sort of very successful man, but he didn't know what to do with his son. And in less than 3 months, he had sending on the cell phone every day that he was doing his exercises, which he could have lied about, of course, but that doesn't mean anything. In less than 3 months, he was able to write 12 songs that he'd never been able to write before.
Wow.
And you'd say, "Oh, well, somebody all of a sudden just got the, motivation, and you're a positive thinker." And this isn't about positive thinking. It's about accuracy. It's about being in reality. So, he then went out and tried to get his songs, appreciated and get a manager and have people listen to his songs. And within, less than 9 months after that, this guy who couldn't do anything before that as an unknown, he got the Rolling Stones manager to review his stuff and to give him a consideration. And then the Rolling Stones manager, and he thought that they were the perfect fit. And so he referred him to somebody else, who's actually a well-known name. And then eventually Radiohead,
Wow.
Yeah. So then he got completely into them. And now his biggest problem is, of course, the way remember the mountain has no top?
Yeah.
The next stage is that now he has to handle success. He doesn't know who to do. He says, "Well, what do I do? I'm a manager." He wants his contract. I've never read a contract. I go, "Looks like you're going to need the energy to be able to read a contract." He says, "Can't I just give it to somebody else?" I said, "You want to hear the stories about people who don't read their contracts?"
Right.
He said, "I have no training." I said, "All of life is not just the training. The training is redevelopment of our talents. But you do have the talent to understand things better than you think, just like the music." And so he eventually was able to read his contract and determined that his first manager really hadn't written the contract the way he wanted it. And then we sent it back to him. It wasn't the way he wanted it. And he got it confirmed by another lawyer, but at least he knew what it was he was going through. Can you imagine if every time somebody sent you a contract or a bill or something you're getting involved in, you could tell whether they were really on your side or whether they were writing it just for, to try to help themselves. Wow. So he's doing great, really. And that's the creative part. It just comes out. So for you, I wanted you to have the creativity to be able to go forward. I think you're writing your second book or one.
Yeah, I was working on Headstrong.
Yeah, you're working on Headstrong and also a number of other things. And my goal is to have those parts of your body that would keep you keep those sensors open, but they would continue to stay open. And that's the whole goal, that you keep getting better day after day. So what happened with you when after the treatment?
I came home and said, "Sorry, Lana, I'm not going to kiss you." And she's...
Yeah, then I went over like a lead balloon. Huh?
Yeah. Who's this guy? No, she was really cool about it. And it was interesting. You said I could still touch the kids because you guys you're so full of positive, amazing energy.
Yeah, they're still pulling it all in. That's why it's so great. That's why, how many people want to pick up a baby? You can't resist it because you know what the field is like? It's intense. It's wonderful. How many people want to hug a bride if she'll let you? Because all of a sudden, it's fantastic energy that is there. And actually, I use that with some women who don't understand the energy, but they've seen something happen to their friend and now looks younger. And they were considering plastic surgery, but their friend looks better and didn't have plastic surgery. So she wanted to come and see if these exercises would work. And I said, "Well, look, do you have pictures of yourself as a bride?" And they go, "Yes." I said, "Do you have pictures of yourself like most women do before when you're trying the dress out and you're where they're fixing the dress to make it for you?" She says, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Why don't you compare those two pictures?" And she said, "You're right. As a bride, I'm like glowing and I'm beautiful and I'm great." I said, "You didn't change the dress. It's not the dress. But what happened? You're not drinking alcohol. You're not on drugs. Why are you looking wonderful here? And here you're just sort of looking, okay, neutral, because you're now, whatever sensors are open now, you're pulling them all in and you're emanating this gorgeous persona."
Wow. So when I experienced, I came back and just the amount of friction in my relationship. I have a pretty good relationship with Lana, but we're married, so things aren't perfect with any marriage. And we put a lot of energy into it. But it just, the amount of effort it took it was just a lot less effort. And she certainly noticed a difference as well and commented on it, which was kind of cool. And stuff got easier. And a big part of my belief in Bulletproof and just in life is that struggle is wasted energy. You're not supposed to struggle. You don't allow things to happen. And almost everything I do, supplements, advice in books, all of it is about, can't it be easier?
Yes.
Like you shouldn't have to push so hard. And I did notice that some things just got easier that I didn't realize where I was pushing. I'm like, oh, it just happened. So this is all non-quantitative qualitative stuff. I don't know that I could measure.
Well, how about your relationship since then? Has it been going on the skids, or is it actually still maintaining some degree of increased connection?
It's definitely better, right? Yeah. And that was, and I've had other people who you treated, who I know, who said similar things like that, and it's wow, okay, that's interesting.
It's part of the big eight that the thing's involved with.
The big eight. What's the big eight?
Well, the energy itself, this discipline, is source energy, the source for acupuncture, tai chi, all those things. There's like 8 major areas that you can definitely see something happening dramatically. So first would be, let me go into it.
Yeah.
First would be like your health, which is my main reason for going there.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as diseases, being knocked out by colds, being knocked out by allergies, being knocked out by any kind of injury, maybe even martial arts, if you get that problem with these exercises or watching the videos, the audios, the disease either comes in for a much shorter period, or it just floats through and you just notice a little uneasiness till finally, maybe after a period of time that you don't even have the problems that everybody at work is having. So your health stays better. And then, actually we had a 93-year-old lady who broke her hip.
Mm-hmm.
And, Lucille, I hope you're out there listening to this. And she broke her hip. And so she called me and said, I'm not going to be able to go to the next lecture or get my things because I'm in the hospital. And they say with a broken hip at my age, it's probably going to die. It might not be good. And so I said, Lucille, just keep, if you can't do the physical exercise, you can watch the videos and you can still listen to on the app, the audios that keep playing, the breathing exercises.
You're talking about videos and apps. And so Dr. Barry has a series of audios and videos that I've used where I'm translating here, but you basically take the energy stuff that you want and you put it in them.
Yeah, it's in the medium.
And they're recorded. You do a live thing in Austin and you record there. And so you listen to these things, meditation sort of things, exercise things, but there's something else in there. It's hard to quantify.
That's what all the meditating people say. They went, well, I meditate, and you can use these before your meditation. It'll change the whole thing. That's that whole enlightenment.
Yeah.
Then you'll start going up the stairs of what most people call the path of enlightenment. So people, let's go back to health. People with health, it didn't matter what their age was, including Lucille. She got voted the number 1 patient in the hospital. They gave her an award. All the nurses didn't want her to go when she finally left because they said, I don't know, we sit with Lucille and we feel better. She's much older than us. Usually we're all older, cranky patients. It's horrible. And they go, it's like always sunshine in here. And finally, I actually called Lucille and said, how, what's happening? Is it going? Are you going to call this or whatever? She says, no, doctors, I'm healing miraculously, from my broken hip. And, he doesn't think there's going to have to be anything done other than some type of physical therapy, but he doesn't know how he's never had a patient like this, especially at my age, since, my bones are not that strong, and so I told him and I said, oh, that's great. What did he say? He said, keep seeing that doctor or doing those videos and audios because obviously, I've never seen a person this age group bounce back like that.
So one of the 8 was health. What are the other ones?
Yeah, health, and you want to have vitality also. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to be like ready to go for it.
The way Alan is all the time.
Right. So like I had, there was Joe who came in, and he's a tailor for many, many years, and he's always leaning over his sewing machine, and he had sort of the curve of the back and everything, and he's an older guy. He's about 70. No, he's 80. He's 80. Well, we're up here in age now. So he's 80. He says, listen, I've enjoyed your audios and videos, but I have a goal. And you're always saying that we have more inside of us that we haven't pulled out that we know is there and we'd love to have happen. And I said, yeah. He said, well, I've always had a dream to be a pilot. And I said, really? Fly an airplane? Yeah. I said, fly an airplane, huh? He says, yes. So is your wife okay that you want to do this? He goes, she's a little bit iffy and wants to know, she wants me to talk to you because I have to pass the physical and then I got to be able to do all the other flight tests. He says, so you think this energy techniques would help me? And I said, yes, I've seen people, doesn't matter what their age, even if they're 5 years old, be able to do great things, with vital and be able to go forward. And I've seen people in your age group. So he said, okay, I'm going to do it. So then Joe, about 2 years later, year and a half later, he called me. He said, "Go outside in the parking lot." I was in Austin at that time, and he was flying his plane over the parking lot, and it was fascinating. Yeah, it's really great that at 82 he could take on something brand new. So this all fits that part of us that you can get stronger with life. It's one of the main things, and life doesn't have to be hard. It could be easier and more fun and more exciting, finding out about yourself and about the whole world, and including relationships. That's one of the three. Mm-hmm. The relationship thing is because you're more peaceful inside. When you're feeling like I'm really capable and I'm strong, my health is good, and I'm going to be able to do what I want to do because strength and power is another one.
I've got this.
I've got this. So that when someone comes up and forget about road rage, just in a normal day, you're in the hall and you say hello to somebody and they look at you like, "Why did you say hello to me?" Or somebody knocks you, and they're being inconsiderate. I'm not saying this has ever happened to you, but maybe to other people. But in the hospital, especially in the county system, there's a lot of people running into each other. And so you could be offended by that. But if you're in this peaceful state, you don't have to think about it. You're just, okay, that was interesting. You keep on moving. You stay on your goal.
I'm that way now. I didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, you stay on your goal where you want to go, make things happen the way you want them to, and then you keep pulling more into the sensors. So relationship improves so that your field is such that you're more kind and you're more considerate of other people because you have the experience that you're, one, not beating up on yourself. Two, you don't have to think about your psychological situation. You're actually just feeling good. You're actually in that able state. And one of the others in the eight is people, especially the athletes, talk about this, is that it's constantly you get to be in the experience of the zone. You get to be in this experience of flow. So if you want to go out and say you're some past NBA player and they're having the finals and there's something terrible happens to you and you need to be, either you're not going to be able to play or something's got to be done. And you can bounce back. Now, what I'm interested in is not just NBA players because they're a small fraction of the world. Plus, most people don't feel like I can relate to them. I want you to relate to yourself and how great you can be because that's the way you really were built. And when you were your son's age, he knows that. You let him loose, he'll be going until finally you got to turn out the lights. And that's what we're really made to have. So, in part of the eight is you have got that. And one of the other greats is called serendipity on command, which is that people notice not only your relationships get better and people are nicer to you, but that also, and you're nicer to them and you don't even know what you did.
Right.
And I've had that from so many people, especially professionals. The wives write me and they say, "Listen, I want him to keep seeing you because our marriage is back to much better shape than it ever was before. And I don't know what he did with you, but I want him to keep doing it." I said, "Well, exercise and watch the video."
But Lana said I was more compliant. I'm not sure if I like that or not.
Maybe that was her term for, no acrimony. But it's all your field. Yeah. And your field is not something that you can focus on all the time. You have to be pulling in the energy and then the field occurs that way. Right. And so if you've got this gentle, loving, caring, considerate field that's you're emanating from, you're helpful to other people, you're considerate, you're kind. In the serendipity on command, what happens is you find that your time is much more your own to get things done and more time to share with other people because things start happening for you that you didn't actually hammer it out, but you made a goal or intention, and these people start coming to you that you never thought you'd be able to contact with.
Things just line up.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a couple interesting things like that just happened. I met the president of Levi Strauss the other day.
Nice.
One of the coolest guys I've ever met. Denim head to toe, but just a cool guy. And he goes, "Oh, I like your coffee." He'd actually tried Bulletproof coffee. And then we ended up getting a video making coffee together. And we just got to chat about pants design and things like that. Just to meet someone like that. And then
started that from zero. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and then the guy from the movie The Mensch that just came out, I met him, Chef Gordon, Alice Cooper's agent. Same thing.
It wasn't something that you'd written a goal on for 10 years and hoped it'd happen. It was just possibly something that would benefit you, and you wanted this kind of people to show up for you, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and he said, of course I'll come on board for free. I'm like, are you kidding? Like this is so cool. Like people who've really done world-changing things.
So you get to find that you're connected to people much better.
Without effort.
Without effort.
It's already just happening.
And so this whole thing that everybody's trying to administer, which is peace and love, is actually what comes out of you anyway. And so then you're connected to other people that are like-minded like that. And so you can form a community of people that you really enjoy, and you feel are more trustworthy, and you actually experience that trustworthiness.
Mm-hmm.
So, this, one of the things is not only the strength and the vitality, but, and the creativity, but you also notice that you're not a person you have to be finding something wrong with yourself all the time. You find out and then trying to cover that over with confidence.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to teach you how to be more confident or how to be more motivated. What you do is you start experiencing, like I'm sure you went through, and then people continue, if they do the exercises or try to do whatever else they're doing in life, you experience you're more competent because you have all these qualities inside of you. Otherwise you wouldn't have thought of them before. You know, you have the competence in there. Now those sensors are connected up. It's just you have to have them stay open, and then you can do like a child does, stand on his hands. But we can't because we go, well, I'm older. Well, really, what happened? Let me see your joints. Let me see your ligament. Well, my Pacini corpuscles are not connected, or something happened, or, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. Truth is, like Lucille found, it doesn't matter what age you are or how young. I've treated people 5 years old, and they've been able to have not only success physically, their grades go up. It's hard to believe how quickly their grades go up because they just listen to the app at nighttime before bed, and when they get up in the morning, that's it. And then all of a sudden they become very interested in school, grades go up, behavior becomes better, and then they're even running for political office.
And it's not like hypnosis or anything that's in the app. It's
no. The only thing I think that some people would relate to, like you said, altered state. Well, you are not angry. You're a little bit happier. You are in an altered state for that. It's wonderful. But one little thing that I think is worth everybody hearing, that the other day, I had a chance to treat this, 7-year-old. Yeah. And, he was brought to me by his mother because of, some things that was happening with his sister, other problems, that, you know, they were arguing a sibling rivalry. She was younger than him, both very cute. But the most important thing to him was not that. The reason she was able to bring him was not this problem with his sister. It's that he doesn't do well in baseball. And he doesn't like it, or they call it T-ball, right? And he can't catch the ball that well. He can't throw that well. He can't hit the one. Even the coaches had told him that, which is already generating some negativity at a young age, the complete opposite of what you're really meant to do. So she says, I want him to have a personal, and then with you, and then, I'd see what can happen. So we worked on catching the ball. And, so I asked him right away, I said, so show me how you catch the ball. You know, you showed me this. Show me how you throw the ball. I said, I had some tennis balls there. And I said, okay. I said, that's not how to catch a ball or throw it. He goes, really? What do you do? He said, there's no technique. No, you don't need a technique. He said, I thought I was supposed to learn this, and then I was following. So no, where you catch the ball from is in here. If you're connected to your surroundings, that's part of the 360, where you can catch somebody's hand coming at you. Same thing with the ball. Your reflexes are way faster than this thinking thing. So I said, would you just stop trying to catch the ball the way you were, which is sticking his hand out and would drag off his hand?
Yeah.
And so this is a guy who couldn't catch the ball at all. So after we practiced a little bit, then I started throwing balls at different angles, and he could catch those. And then I started throwing them on the low bouncers. Is good. So, well, it was really fascinating was that was interesting. I also showed him how to throw, but I was more interested in the catching. But then for the report from his mother and a bunch of people who know him was for the next days, he was catching everything. He was throwing food, candy up in the air and catching it. He was showing people how to catch things. He was, taking fruit and and then catching it. He was doing so many different things that parents said, you know, he's really loving catching everything now. And we've taken him out for baseball. He's like, you know, monumental change in his ability to catch the ball and also hit the ball. I said, yeah, the same thing. You think that you can think about how fast the ball's coming or where it is. Like, the calculations are already in here. You just need to be in the space, in that energy field, these sensors open, so that when the ball comes, your arm does it.
It's a sense of ease versus a sense of struggle. Yeah. He was thinking and struggling versus...
Yeah, everybody's teaching him, right? This is the way you do T-ball. We're going to show you kids. Yeah. And so now for the rest of his life, he doesn't have to worry about that particular area being something that the only way to master it is, and there's nothing wrong with learning lots of techniques. It just won't allow you to burst through. And
so the awareness precedes the technique. You're using the technique before the awareness.
And technique often has nothing to do with you catching the ball anyway. Yeah. If you see a really good outfielder, I mean, they're rolling all over the ground and boom, they caught it. Well, did they really think about that while they were rolling on the ground?
They're plugged in.
Yeah, they were into this. They were in the space where they needed to be.
There's a famous video. I don't remember which baseball player it was, but someone's interviewing him. And a ball comes really fast and he's just talking to the interview on camera, and the ball just reaches his hand up and grabs it. And like, he was focused on what he was saying.
Exactly.
His awareness was on, and again, he's a professional ball player, right? And I imagine half the people listening the video because it got a lot of play. But that sort of awareness is the sort of thing that it sounds like you kind of have that turned on all the time.
It's really useful.
Okay.
But afterwards, his mother, who came in the room a few times while I was doing this, she said, it's really interesting. I said, well, you can do the same thing. She goes, me? I don't ever play baseball. I go, it's just catching. She goes, really? And then I didn't say, I was looking the other way while I was talking to her, and I was like this. And also I threw the ball just like that. And I went, banged her, and she went, she caught it. And she said, how did I do that? I said, we can do that all day. Come on, I'll show you a bunch of them. She laughed because she said, God, I thought it was only for little kids to be able to have this quality you were pulling out. I said, I'm not pulling it out. They're pulling it in with the energy, opening up those qualities we have inside of us that are there, part of your gift of life, to be here and be able to express yourself in a lot of different ways, which is another one of the 8, which is you get to have no more of that word people talk about, overwhelm, no more concern, no more that I've got to be anxious all the time. We have one lady that you would love this lady. I mean, I would say her name, but we'll just say she's a really attractive, thin woman from the Middle East who was about to fail out of medical school.
Okay.
And so she came to me and she said, the anxiety medicines aren't working, the psychiatric help isn't working, and I live with my parents, and somebody said that you could help all this severe anxiety. And I have test anxiety, my grades are terrible. And she was the lowest in her class. And so I said, yeah, this will work in that area. We've seen it with people much younger than you, that your brain opens up and you can start to pull things in easily by catching the ball.
Right.
So she, over a year's time, did the exercises. Her grades not only got better, but she ended up graduating in the top of her class, which is hard to believe, but it's true, and getting a position of, either she was the president of the class or some large position in her class after that, after being a low person down here in terms of her competence. But see, the competence was not where it came from out here. The competence came from within, and so therefore her confidence went up. So she got off all the medications too. She's no longer on those medications. And better story, I think the last part of the 8 is in terms of relationships. She says, well, I'm feeling so great. I think maybe I could leave my parents' home and not live there.
Strike out her own.
Yeah. And she said, but they've got it there's a Middle Eastern religion. I won't say which one, but it's very serious that you stay within this clan and we tell you everything what to do. And she said, I'm afraid of their wrath. And I said, just use the energy and you can communicate like you were talking about when you go home with your wife. And so, she did, and they had a peaceful separation. She got her own condo, it worked out. And then, the next thing she wanted, well, you think I can meet the right guy? I said, sure. People ask for that I get letters on that every year. People telling me, I got pictures you see in the office, all those couples here. They're people who found their soulmate because the energy allows you to be more attractive to the people that you want to be attracted to.
That's the trick.
So your soulmate all of a sudden gets closer to you, and then all of a sudden you're feeling, I really feel great with this person.
People swipe right more often on you on Tinder, is that?
I don't know Tinder. I'm sorry. I do know they have
that. That was a joke for the millennials who are dating with apps.
But you can find, but people have been able to find them on the apps I've heard. But the point is that it's wonderful that you finally get to find the person that you want. Well, anyway, she actually then finally fell in love. Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, not so beautiful. The guy isn't of that religion or of that race or of that ethnicity or anything. But she pulled it on. And so then they had this big wedding that the family just said, oh, we're so glad. 1, she's not, so anxious and nervous. 2, she got through medical school. 3, she's a woman on her own and we can trust her, which is really what I think all parents really want. Yeah. They just don't feel they can trust their wonderful child to actually miss all the dangers in the world and still be successful and be happy. And they want somehow to think that either everything that the parent did, they want to reverse it, or they actually want you to just do exactly, and both of which is impossible because you're a different, unique being, which is what counts. So, so all those in the different categories of what the energy is valuable for, it comes with the treatment, just each one of the treatments that you go through, or the different audios are specific for certain problems, certain things you want to have happen, like brighter intelligence, less, more time, your time management becomes easy. You can multitask.
So the treatments you do are usually for people at a certain level of success. They're really expensive, and you're treating some of the most powerful people in the world. And the school that you come from was to protect the emperor of China. Like this is some high end stuff. So these are people who got one-on-one treatments, but what you've done is you've basically taken the stuff and you put it in videos and you teach it in larger groups, so it becomes more accessible to people who aren't fortunate enough to be able to fly to LA and get an hour of your time.
Yes, I was so worried that people wouldn't make the what do you call leap, or at least investigate that it was possible to do it through a medium like listening or watching a video, that it was possible to embed it in there, but they had disbelief. So what I did is I collected testimonials over the years, and I wouldn't really come out like now, be on the radio or talk to people until I had over 10,000 testimonials of people in every one of these areas where they didn't matter whether they're 5 or 95. I have all those different levels where the people have had successes in each one of these areas we're talking about. So then I felt confident enough to come out and let people know, this is here for you. This is what I want everyone to do it. And it's not even difficult. It's easy. You just have to, like I was showing you earlier, you take 5 minutes in the shower or 5 minutes before you go pick up your kids and do some of these exercises. Interesting. It's not hard.
You're really giving. And if you're listening, there's a very good chance you've read Headstrong, my new book on mitochondria. There's a mitochondrial meditation that's in the book. And I just called up Barry and said, hey, Barry, I need someone who can make a meditation that's all about mitochondria and about opening these things up. My understanding of mitochondria is that they are these ancient bacteria that are actually responsible for sensing the environment around us. And then they roll that up into what we perceive later. Mm-hmm. So Barry, with you didn't charge him anything, you're just like, hey, sure, of course. So he wrote the mitochondrial meditation, and there's a link in the book. And you decided also just to gift listeners with some of the exercises, just so you can try this if you want. Go to energyforsuccess.com/Dave. There's no financial deal, no relationship. Barry's my friend. He's my teacher. He's my energy medicine dude who charges me up when I need it. And I can call him and he does stuff that honestly you would think it wouldn't be possible, but appears to be possible from my perspective. So energyforsuccess.com/Dave. We'll put it in the show notes and on the blog and all that kind of stuff. And this is just a gift, and thank you for offering that to people. I gotta say, in my path, I'm a computer science guy. Studied artificial intelligence before we like to call it that, something called decision support systems. So I'm pretty geeky and have a relatively high skeptic meter, but also I'm willing to try anything because I also know that just whatever mechanisms I think work, there's probably something I don't know about, which is why I've done maybe 20% of all the strange stuff you've done. So there's something to what you do. And I can't exactly say why or how it works, but I do notice that there's a pretty potent effect.
Well, I think all of us, just slight pointer, I think all of us, when we see a hurricane, we go, oh, isn't that exciting? Isn't that interesting? Somehow God, Mother Nature created this force that goes around. I wonder what's in there. Mm-hmm. And as you know, the energy that's in a hurricane can, light up a city for a period of time and even more. And then we all see energy flowing through, used to be through wires. Now it's through Bluetooth in the air or Wi-Fi, but you don't see it. Right. You don't feel it. And this is everybody's getting there. It's closely. It won't be long till they can go, well, there is vibrations that are possible to detect with my body. Maybe I am a tuning fork. Mm-hmm. Maybe I am a tuning fork and these vibrations are here. And the ones that, the sensors are open for, then you can go with that vibration. So if you want to be a better, artist, even though you've already had 2 careers, we have people that go out and be artists and sell their paintings. We have people that get married at, a guy got married at 70, found his soulmate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really great. And he'd never met her before. He just started 7. He said, can this work for me? Because, my kids are grown and my wife passed. And so I'd really like to find the greatest one. I said, okay, great. Do you know what you want? He said, yeah. Do you know what things you really don't want to? He said, yeah. I said, so I think we can do this. So you start doing these exercises and then follow, and it should be within a period of time you should find the right person. He says, well, there's one thing I got to tell you though, Doc. He said, I don't have a car. I said, really? You don't have a car, really? He said, yeah, I ride a bicycle sometimes, but I'm a rider. So usually I just walk up and down a few blocks, and I work at a coffee shop. And then I don't go very far because the Whole Foods isn't too far either. I said, that's great. Why are you telling me that? He said, well, I want the woman to be in that area so I can find her because I have no way to go someplace else if someone's going to drive me. I'm 70 years old. And I said, okay, so you want to have her within a certain distance so you can meet her? He said, yeah, that's what I want. So we have, I think it's going to be on the website, his entire testimony about how he did meet the woman of his dreams, walking down his own 2 blocks away from his house, where a friend of his, he was talking to he saw the guy he was talking to some woman who actually lived in the house. And then they got into connection. And then you're in this space where if you meet someone of like heart and mind and their sensors are open towards love and relationship, this is what happens. So now they're a permanent couple and they've actually gotten married.
Very cool, Barry.
Within walking distance.
Well, this has been a fascinating interview, and I've got to ask you the final question that I've asked every one of the guests except like show 87 or something, where I forgot that one time out of 420 something different shows. 420
successful shows. Yeah,
there's a lot of them. Well, I don't know. I hope they're all successful. 420 shows anyway. Now, if someone came to you tomorrow and said, like, Barry, I want to be better at everything I do. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to perform better at just being a human. 3 most important pieces of advice you have for them. What would they be?
I think the 3 most important things, I would say the first thing is you need to open your eyes and wake up to the fact that all throughout life, you've had this, at least maybe no one told you directly, but it's in the culture, it's in the cultural milieu, that your life is supposed to go like this, and then like this, and like this, and like
for people listening, it's like up, down, up, down.
Well, up, down, but always in a declining down. Right. So that the down is never back up to the next up. So you keep going down till finally it's over. Okay. So that life is not that way. It does not have to be that way. Life can be on the way up, 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 and you can get stronger. You can fly a plane at 82, 83. You can heal, your bones can get stronger. You can be able to do you can find the love of your life at 70, all those things, if you're just being a human being, that you can do those things, that your life does have so many things in it that are able to be fueled by this energy. So if you just connect with this source energy, with all these vibrations, your life can just zoom forward in all those areas we talked about, which is a real freedom. Second thing would be that I don't think there's a person out there that won't agree that, well, you may be a great business person, you may be a great athlete, but, there's other areas in your life that you really would like to have great, because that's what we all are. We want this balance of being able to see both, the trees and the water and hang with our family and our kids and be successful in business and be healthier and become more creative. So in all those areas, you're not limited. In the past, someone convinced you could do maybe only so many, but inside, that there's other ones. That there's more things that you want to accomplish. That there's a mountain that you want to climb, like I climbed, and that you in certain different areas, and you can do it with this energy. It isn't like you're limited. You don't need confidence and push that on yourself and say, I'm positive, although it is good to be positive. You need to experience your competence, and that's what these exercises do and the videos do. So there's a way to get to it. Third thing is that in our lives, the way we've sort of been instructed, just like the little boy playing baseball that wasn't successful, we've been instructed pretty much that, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to practice 10,000 hours, and you're going to have to do all this work. And then maybe you'll be as good as this player from the past, or maybe not. You better study his videos. Versus life can be so much easier and have flow, and you can be in the flow state all the time. You can be in the zone all the time. This thing that people want to get with mindfulness, or meditation. So many of those clients have come to me and say, this whole thing bypasses the long road to getting what people want in mindfulness or what they want in meditation, and it augments them. So that they're able to get the benefits from it easily, and they stay with it. Even people that are very religious. I've had priests, rabbis, monks come and they say it doesn't affect the religion, it makes it more visible and experiential so that they can really go out and do a better job in that. So those would be the three biggest things.
Beautiful. Barry, thanks for being on Bulletproof Radio, and thanks for the work you've done for me, and thanks for gifting some of your exercises for listeners to try, and thanks for writing the mitochondrial meditation in Headstrong. You've been doing this for quite a long time, sort of under the radar as a quote real doctor, and now you're sort of coming out of that and just saying,
I've been doing all these years. I've been doing both gastroenterology every day, and then doing the energy treatments at night, and then the lectures on the weekend. So I pretty much worked a 7-day week for, I guess, about 15, 16 years. And the energy is the only way to do that effectively. Otherwise, you'd get upset, burnt out, or you certainly would lose your verve.
I can call you at 1 a.m. and you're up just like I am. Yeah. And people don't understand that kind of energy. And it's, it's phenomenal. I didn't always have the level of energy I do now. And certainly some of your work is a part of it. Having mitochondria that function is a big part of it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Being able to make power.
Yeah, massive support from your supplements. Keep the mitochondria going like they need to and growing, just like all your material says. And then at the same time, well, what are they also supposed to do? Well, they're supposed to be pulling in this energy, not just making it from a certain piece of food or vitamin that you took. They got to go together.
And it comes from the environment around you, which is fascinating that epigenetics is teaching us that. And your 5,000-year-old tradition, look at the world around you. What's it doing to you right now? What are you doing to it? And that's what it comes down to. And that's why
even Western medicine finally came around with some things like this, where they say, well, y'all probably should go out in the sun a little bit because you're getting vitamin D deficient. And why? Because you don't take in enough sunlight. What is sunlight? Energy.
Yeah.
What does that energy do? Your body absorbs it into the melanocytes, and then those sites make these little crystals with ATP. Mm-hmm. And if you have enough ATP, you make those crystals, and then you have a nice covering in your skin of color that protects you from, X-rays and things like that, radiation. So it's already there. It's just people don't want to look at it because they go, it can't be that way. It would, but it all fits together. I've had scientists come to me, some in Silicon Valley where you've spent a bunch of time, who were working on other things. And they all say, this allows me to stay creative much longer during each day and be able to come up with some things that they really want to contribute to humanity.
And it's profound stuff. So thanks again. I appreciate it. And I appreciate just that you spent so many years questing to find this stuff, and you went through all the struggle to do it, and also that you're making it a little easier than climbing to the top of a mountain or spending thousands of dollars an hour with a very limited amount of time.
Yeah, no one has to do that anymore. Nobody has to do that anymore. It's done.
Yeah, it's cool. And so I definitely listen to the exercises or do the exercises. Well, sometimes I can say I'm not that disciplined at doing the exercises because sometimes I'm a little busy, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, not only we're all getting, but I still do the exercises every morning. In all these years, it's been at least an hour. Doesn't matter if I'm in a hotel.
It's been an hour. You're telling me 15 minutes.
I told you that with time you may want to do more. As you see, you can do more, but you can do it if you took 5 minutes out, 5 times a day. Yeah, how much time would that be?
Yeah, you can fit it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again. And if you liked today's episode, I think it was a profound episode. We went longer than normal because it's interesting and fascinating. You know what to do. Actually, there's a couple things you do. One, go out there and pick up a copy of Headstrong. Headstrong just made the monthly bestseller list in the New York Times in the science category, sandwiched between 2 amazing books by the same author. One's called Sapiens. The other one's called Homo Deus, which is phenomenal. This is a kind of a who's who list. The hidden life of trees is on the list. And just for Headstrong to hit that in the science category, not advice on how to, was an incredible honor. And your work is in the book. You're certainly mentioned in it. And so you could go out there and you could pick up a copy of the book. I'd be really grateful if you do that because we're still working on staying on the list. The other thing you could do is you could just go to iTunes and leave a review that says that you like this was cool. Share it with someone because this was awesome. This is a path that you don't tell your story too much. You're very humble about it. And I think we managed to get some of it out of you. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Have a wonderful, whatever time of day it is that you're listening to this in your commute or at work or wherever else you listen to it, in the bathtub, whatever the heck you do. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here.